Happy Hump Day, everybody. It's Wednesday, the 29th of May. Those of you that are joining us live, thank you for being here. Those of you that will watch the replay, if you take the time, I appreciate it. With me tonight is Mr. Home Arcade.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
All right. So, what we're going to do tonight, there's going to be a little bit of back and forth, but we're also going to have painful thoughts. We're going to go through his stuff. But first and foremost, before we go any further, we have to figure out and where he stands in the geek nerd dork version of the Myers-Briggs. Now, I explain this every week, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it again. So, if you have a high IQ and you're socially awkward, generally you're considered a dork. If you have a high IQ and an obsession, you're generally considered a geek. If you're obsessed and socially awkward, you're likely a stalker. Now, if you happen to be all three, you happen to fit into the nerd category. Now, if you want to move from geek to nerd, all you have to do is figure out how to become socially awkward. I'm not sure how you do that, but I'm sure there's a way. Has to be. If you want to go from dork to nerd, you just have to find an obsession. And if you want to go from stalker to nerd, you just have to figure out how to work on your IQ. So I guess educate yourself. I don't know. I don't know how that works. So, Mr. Home Arcade, where do you fit in this spectrum?
Well, now that I can see it, because I was watching, listening to a couple of your streams, you know what I mean? I heard you talking about it, but now that I actually see the picture, I would say that I fit into geek. You know what I'm saying? I definitely got an obsession with some shit, but I consider myself pretty wise, so yeah, I would say geek.
We'll work with that. So, one of the things that I do, and that's the importance of play as an adult. And play looks different for us as adults than it does kids. But for those of us in the toy community, it tends to look a lot like kids, if I'm being honest. But the play state, it's a state of mind where you're engrossed in an activity and it's providing you enjoyment and you just lose all track of time. So, given that definition, when was the last time you played?
The last time I played was probably the last time I did one of my story videos. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
when I do this type of videos, I got to figure out how I'm going to do what gets from point A to point B, and then I end up, you know what I mean, just playing with my figures. I showed you some pictures of a whole bunch of different dioramas that I got, and I baked those so I could have different environments to be able to, just do what I used to do when I was a child. You know what I mean? Just playing out different scenarios. So yeah, I would say I play with these figures often.
Okay. So, when you were a kid and you played, what were your favorite ways to play? Was there a specific pattern? Did they have to mix? Could you play Ninja Turtles with Masters of the Universe? I'm not sure on your age because you wear a mask, and we'll come back to talk about the significance of the mask a little bit later. But so what were the ways as a child that you played? Was it outdoors? Was it indoors? Was it, did you play with your friends? Did you play by yourself?
Well, let's say, give it that. I just give you a little age. I'm 40 right now, just so you understand, So yeah, I've been around the block. And back when I used to play with my action figures, oh man, I would mix and match them. Like one of my favorite play sets was the Ghostbuster Firehouse.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Everybody can live up in the Ghostbuster Firehouse. I did so many different things. So let's just say, like if it was snowing outside, I bring my action figures outside. They go on a little adventure. You know what I mean? But as far as like mix and matching, though, I mean, I try to keep things somewhat together. I was really big into TMNT when I was younger. Had a whole bunch of them. I love Legos. You know what I mean? But I loved a lot of different lines. You know what I mean? I wasn't exactly into Motu as I am now, which is a whole different story. But yeah, for the most part, I love my figures. I love the Marvel figures. I sent you a picture of one of my favorite ones growing up was Wolverine. That's what kind of got me into customizing figures, starting off with him.
Okay. So, in thinking about play as a kid and even play now, I want you to kind of talk about what that makes you feel.
All right, well, shit, when I play with the toys, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I got part of my childhood back. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, everybody they deal with everyday life, adult shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
life is not easy. You know
No.
what I mean? Life is hard. So, me with my whole collecting obsession and stuff like that, it brings me back to a time to where I didn't have to worry about none of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like at first, some people would, well, me personally, I used to play a lot of video games, stuff like that, and I moved on from that, and luckily I found toys again. You know what I mean? I went head on in. When I focus on something, I kind of get a little too crazy with it. As you can see with my collection and
Yeah.
dioramas and stuff like that, I just go in full force. So yeah, with these toys, it definitely takes me back to a time like let's just say if I need to get my mind off of, there's a worker, you know what I'm saying, family life or
Mhm.
whatever. I just take a walk in the basement, open up some toys I didn't get a chance to open up yet. It's Christmas anytime I want. You know what I mean? That's what I enjoy about all these figures.
Yeah. I mean, there's that nice point. So we're gonna talk about your. We'll go over your most recent additions. If you give me a second. That up, that up. Now I gotta present screen. Oh, one of these days I'll get this smoother. So obviously you got a ramen racer.
Oh yes.
Now I'm not sure what I know most of the scale you have is 5.5, right?
Yeah, well, the reason being, I mean, I collect a whole bunch of other stuff, and I used to keep it on display, but now I put all that shit in the box. It's all Motu, baby. That's it. You know what I mean? So I
Okay.
bought that ramen racer for He-Man. I'm hoping he
Okay.
fits in it. I didn't open it up yet. If he doesn't fit in it, it's going back in the box. I ain't gonna lie. I bought it for He-Man.
Well, you know what? I he might be a little wide, but I think you might be able to get him in there.
Oh, I think he'll fit in there.
All right. So next thing you just picked up recently. Now, I don't know why I know this look, and I'm trying to figure out why.
He's mixed with some type of anime robot. This is a amalgamation of a
Okay.
customizer made of, you know what I mean? I bought it off eBay auction. I forget his
Okay.
name. God only knows. But yeah, it was an amalgamation of some type of robot from some anime. You
Okay.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think. Yeah, this might be. Oh goodness gracious! I'm trying to think of the name. If Brick was here, he'd be able to tell because he's that's
Oh,
his
people that
wheelhouse.
know, they know.
Yeah,
I just don't
exactly.
know.
So a custom Battle Cat
Yeah,
Panther
yeah, that's supposed to
White.
belong to what is it? Scare Glow. That's supposed to be. They
Okay.
call him Scaredy Cat.
Does it glow in the dark?
Oh yes, yeah, that
Oh,
definitely does glow. That's the only reason I bought it. That was another purchase off of eBay.
nice. And you got the collector shit this week.
Oh yes, I can't wait to get into that. I might have to say right now, the best thing about that collector is the box. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I mean?
no. The art is always fantastic. That's the one thing that the whole Origins line has done really well is the box art and the card art and just in general, it's solid in more ways than it should be. You
But
would
I mean,
think.
as far as the collector itself, though, I mean, I've seen a couple of reviews and like looking at it, I'm not too impressed. Mattel let me down, and I can't wait to review it. But yeah, that's why I said the box. The box looks great.
Now you use
Oh,
these for parts mostly, right?
oh yes, yeah, that was strictly fodder buy right there. You know what I mean? I bought that off of BBTS. They had a sale. All three of them was like 20 some bucks, something like that.
Oh,
It's
nice.
worth it all day. And those are good
Yeah.
parts, real good parts.
All right. So I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that was it for now. That's just the past couple days. I ordered a bunch of stuff, buddy. That's all I got between today and yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I have slowed down on my purchases quite a bit. So I probably buy two figures a month now. But
What?
I did get it. I did get in my whole Cosmic Legion's wave that I bought a year ago, year and a half ago, whatever that time frame was when I bought that. So I opened Operative A, which is the Many Faces homage, and then I opened Scourge, which is the Whiplash homage. But I have to take him apart to fit his tail on. So it's one of those projects that I'm just like, I don't feel like getting out the heat gun just to do that. So it's going to be sitting for a couple weeks until I get around to messing with it. So are there any other activities that you do that kind of bring you back to that childhood feeling of joy and just being in the moment?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I did like to play like, old arcade games. I used to go to the arcades a lot. You know what I mean? So
Oh, yeah.
hence the name Mr. Home Arcade. You know what I mean? That was my thing. That was my jam for a little while. I was in that whole home arcade community. But then the shit kind of got old to me. You know what I mean? I didn't bought all the shit that I wanted. And I just got bored of it. And so then I wanted to just branch out and do something else that I was passionate about. And then I started to see the Origins line. And I was always collecting the Origins line, ever since it came out. But I would just buy them and then just put them in stores. And I wouldn't open them. And then, after I went full hard into it, I ended up going down the rabbit hole, going on eBay, buying all the ones I didn't have. And then I ended up getting them all. You know what I mean? And now that's all I think about. Motu, motu, motu. Motu hunt all the time. Go to Walmart, which I would always go down to the toy aisle. You know what I mean? If I go to Target or Walmart, whatever. But now I really go down the toy aisle. You know what I mean? And on the hunt. And I tend to buy more figures than I need to buy. You know what I mean?
At one point we all do that. We all have that moment where it's just like, it's fine. It's fine. We'll pay it later. Not a big deal. No, nothing bad will happen. Right?
Yeah, I try to justify it any way I can.
Yeah, I need this for my mental health. You don't understand.
That's right.
So Buddy figured it out. It's Mazinger Z. Yeah. Thank you, Buddy. I was thinking it was Mazinger, but my brain farted on that word, and it's not exactly rolling off the tongue kind of thing. So, this next question we're gonna actually answer with a video. Now, this is part of your attorney in tow. Little I guess for lack of a better word, it's more of like just a playing with your toys. I mean, it really is. It's just you playing with your toys, having a whole story and making up this whole little thing. So we're going to go to that, but I'm going to ask the question, how do you play with your toys now versus when you were as a child? So this is his response. So give me a second, folks. Sharing screen. I always find this fun. All right. Can't let me know.
Come on, guys. Y'all need to hustle. Come on, we got to get it cleaned up. I almost got it polished, boss. One more spark plug and it's ready. Hey, Triclops, wake up now. Wake up. How y'all doing out there? My name is Hustler. Not only do I own the Attorney Auto Mart, but sometimes we got to tow some vehicles for people that don't want to pay their bill. You're about to find out how we get down. Don't tell me you're going to lay there all day. Triclops, they would have been done already if you'd have got your lazy behind up and helped them get that car ready.
Everything looks like it's almost done from here. Come on now, Hustler.
You might be right, but every second y'all's here is that's costing me money, okay?
All right, I got 5 minutes of break and then I'll get up. My name's Triclops and I love my job. I love getting my hands dirty. And if you got a problem with that, come on and talk to me. I'd love to help you. Hey, Merman and Clawless, don't tell me y'all's upset that I'm not helping you guys out. I don't care either way. I'm just wiping shit off. Go ahead and do you.
No problems here. I'd rather you have your strength. Hey, I'm Merman and I couldn't see myself anywhere else but here. These guys are like family to me.
Hey, Hustler, I have a vehicle that's up for repossession.
Bring it here.
Apparently, Skeletor has been paying his bills, and he's 3 weeks behind on his land share. If you guys don't pick it up tonight, you might be able to avoid a confrontation between Skeletor and his men. Considering what happened last time, can you boys please bring the vehicle back in one piece? Thank you. Hi there. My name is Robata. I've worked for Hustler for all my life, and I will do anything to make him happy. Anything.
This is just the news I want to hear. Come on now, folks. Y'all got to get up and get me this vehicle. That land shark ain't paying for itself. We got to get it back down here to the auto mart.
Now that's worth getting up for. Give me the clipboard and I'll go down there. Just show me how to get there.
I know where he lives at. I know how to get there. Come on, let me go with you.
Hey, my name is Clawless. I messed up a little bit ago, stealing a roton from Hustler, and I got to work it off before it'll kill me. But I'm starting to like it here.
Yeah, I don't know, Clawless. It took me a little bit to find you when you stole that roton from me. I don't know if you might try to run away and hide.
If you can save me some time, I'll take you with me. But if you cross me, I swear. Yeah, I'll definitely save you some time, and I won't go anywhere, I promise. All right, Shrimp, I believe you. Get up, you're right in the back. Come on, let's go. All right, man, we're all ready to go. I'm not going to let Clawless get away, and I'm going to come back with that land shark.
Oh, I know y'all will. I got faith in you, Triclops. Come on and bring me back that thing. I need my money.
As long as we all do our jobs, we'll do just fine.
This ain't my first time.
I'll pull my weight.
Remember, guys, try to avoid confrontation.
We'll be okay.
This won't take long.
I got a good feeling about this, Robota. I think they're going to be all right. Unless I plan on going out there myself, I got to put faith in my men that they come back and get their job done.
Hey, Clawless, we going the right way. I don't need you messing up my money. Yeah, you keep on driving until I tell you to stop. I know exactly where I'm going, all right? Yeah, at the time, I didn't really know where I was going. But luckily, if you keep driving straight, you can't get lost. I hope you're paying attention back there. Don't get me lost.
Come on, Triclops. Give him a break. He's doing his best. This is his first time on the job with us.
All right, but if it goes sideways, it's on you. We only got a couple more miles to go. Trust me, that land shark is there. You'll see. All I want to see is a big payday once I get back with this land shark. All right, it's right up ahead. Slow down a little bit. We should be all right because Skeletor should be knocked out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's definitely a land shark. But it looks like there's somebody sleeping on them rocks. I need one of you guys to go over there and vet it. I don't want to pick up the wrong shark.
I might make too much noise. Leave it up to the new guy.
Fuck it, give me the clipboard. Yeah, I don't mind doing it. I've been around here. I'm actually pretty fast with no legs, so I'll do all right. I'm almost there. I just gotta not wake him up. Get up here. So what's it look like? Do the numbers match up? Hold on, let me see. 5, 6, yeah, that's it. Come on. Good job, Shrimp. I'll back up on it. See, I told you I wasn't going to let you down. Just back it up nice and easy.
I'm actually pretty impressed with Clawless. He's holding his own and he got the vehicle checked. I'm ready to get paid. Come on, let's get it. Come on, back it up nice and easy.
I see you.
Take it easy. There you go.
All right, buddy, you know what to do. Let's hook and book. Get the cord hooked up.
I'm trying to be quiet as I can. Don't rush me, okay?
Slow down a second. I see him move. We gotta be careful. I'm getting kind of bored. I hope he does wake up.
Hey, Clawless, I need you to come over here and hook this up.
You can't reach in there and do it.
It's farther than I thought.
That's fine. Give me it. I can get it. Call the family.
Yeah, right there. Be careful.
Hey, what is going on here? What is y'all doing over there? Get off of that!
Hey, Whiplash, long time no see, buddy.
Hey, Triclops, you might want to come up here, please.
Hey guys, somebody's trying to steal Skeletor's ride. Come out!
So this idiot got up and decided to call his buddies. This is the reason I come to work.
Hey, this is private property. Y'all gotta back the fuck up now.
Take it easy, Jitsu.
We're not looking for trouble.
Speak for yourself, Merman. If these guys want some trouble, they can come on with it.
I love trouble. Come on, bring it.
You guys are dead. Just read this. This has all the proof we need. No need to fight. I was trying to be the voice of reason. These guys know me. We go back. There's no reason for us to be fighting like this.
Somebody looks at this paperwork. Skeletor's behind 3 payments.
Yep, that's right. He just needs to call Hustler to work it out.
Skeletor's asleep enough to make their call in the morning. You ain't getting shit.
Just let these guys do their job and we'll be on our way.
We're here doing our job, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna let you or whoever else take this vehicle from us. Get the fuck out of here.
You're gonna try that on me, you piece of shit.
Get off the ground.
Touch my guy. I'm gonna You're not waking up after.
Once again, they took a turn for the worse. I can't believe what happened, but thank God the Triclops was there to defend Clawless.
You like picking up smaller guys smaller than you? Look at me, I'm in your fucking face. Come on and try to knock me out. Take that shit. Sleep. Get off, sleep. Yeah, get off of me. You don't know me. With a job like this, you always run into some type of tough guy. But at the end of the day, they all know they're not shit. Then I'll put them right in their place. Get off my back. You want to take a nap too? I'm gonna knock you out. Come on,
Come on,
get out.
You're gonna forget it. We can't let you take this off the property, man. It can't happen.
We got it hooked up already. We'll drag it out on its nose if you want. Or you give me the key.
Skeletor won't be happy about this.
Trust me, he won't be happy if we drag this bitch out. Luckily, there was somebody there with some common sense, so I was about to have to get my hands dirty. I'd hate to have to mess up such a pretty ride like this, but it's hooked up. I just need the keys and that's it.
Yeah, you make a good point. Here, take the keys and get the hell out of here.
You're a smart guy. You made the right choice. I'll take it and get it there in one piece. Don't you worry.
If you mess that up, you're gonna have to deal with Skeletor.
Come on, blue guy, make a move. Come on. Blue guy. Take one like that, the key. Let's go.
You got the key? All right, good. Back up.
so
Yeah,
lucky.
now, how you like that? Fuck you. Got the key, and we're gonna take it right the hell out of here. It's punks like that guy Faker right there that got lucky his ass to get knocked out. I'm sure I'll see you again. Come on, Shrimp, let's go. There you are. We'll get you back. We get this out of here.
I can't believe Jitsu kicked me in my fucking face like that, knocked me out. But at the end of the day, it showed me who my friends are.
I was hoping they wouldn't have gave you the key. I wanted to drag it out.
If Triclops would have dragged it out, we probably would have broke it. It's best that I drive it back. I always wanted to drive a land shark.
Jitsu, wake up. You gotta get up.
Thanks again. It's time to ride.
Next time, tell your boss to pay his bills on time, losers.
You're a dead man, you one-eyed freak. I promise you're dead. Skeletor's gonna be so pissed when he wakes up.
Race you back to the shop.
You're on, Triclops. Get ready to eat my dust.
He really knocked you out good, man. You gotta get up. Come on, wake up.
I don't know about you, Whiplash, but I take this shit personal. I'm gonna make that motherfucker pay.
It might not have been an easy repo, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of my guys. They got the job done, and we're going to get paid. Move over and let me pass.
Come on, you almost got it.
I just got a new repo in for a Ground Ripper at Castle Grayskull.
A repo on a ground ripper, yep, that's good money. And after making the money off this land shark, I'll be able to afford the car of my dreams. Yep, I think I'm going to go down to Castle Grayskull and get that ground ripper.
Come on, Triclops. Stop hogging the road. I'm trying to get back so we can get that money for that ground ripper. Move.
That last repo went a little rough, but I'm more concerned about the guys getting this ground ripper. I heard some stories about He-Man, and I hope they make it out alive.
Oh, man, my head is killing me. But I don't know if I can go down there to Castle Grayskull. I'm not ready for a run-in with He-Man. They're going to have to drop me off. Last time I seen He-Man, him and that Wonder weirdo almost blew me up. So I'm not ready for a fight just yet. I can't stand that fucker. I hate him. I'll never forget that look on his fucking face.
Oh, shit. That was good. Thank you for letting that whole thing play out. I enjoyed watching that. Hold on, I can't hear you for some reason.
Haha, I was on mute. No, it's funny aside from the cussing. But
I'm sorry.
That's you. No, that's you. You got to be you. It is what it is. It's not a horrible thing. It is what it is. I honestly can cuss like a sailor myself, but I tend to I monitor my talk more when I'm on lives, just general principle for me. But no, I loved it. It was fantastic. I
really appreciate it.
And it reminds me of all of those reality television shows. So I get where you were trying to go with it. And it's really funny.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to mix it up and there's a whole interconnected storyline that I got going on. And I've been doing it for 2 years now. So when Clawful, when he was talking about how he had a run-in with He-Man and Wonder, I did a commercial about that. You know what I mean? I think it was the Roton commercial or something like that. And you see how he gets messed up. You know what I mean? And I did a whole Christmas episode on how He-Man ripped his arms off and ate them and stuff like that. So that's why he looks like that. So it's a whole interconnected story.
Yeah. And anybody who wants to find out, in the description of the video, the playlist for Eternia Toe is there. If you haven't followed Mr. Home Arcade, you really should. There's interesting stuff there. His reviews are funny. I always like a good humorous review. I like more of the making fun of things and just generally trying to play with the toy than very rote reviews that we get a lot of times. So when you were a kid, Who won most often, the good guys or the bad guys?
Oh, that's a good question. I would probably say the good guys. I ain't gonna lie.
I think everybody wants to be the good guys. Isn't that always interesting? Nobody wants to be the bad guys, but you know, if you're looking for parallels like Star Wars, you get your first movie, the good guys win, the second movie, the bad guys win, third movie, the good guys go back to winning again. It's always interesting for me as a person because I did both ways because I like to create that tension where, as a kid, where the bad guys might actually win. So for me, it was kind of a mix of both.
Well,
So,
like nowadays, I got a little spin on it. It's like with my whole stories and stuff. Like He-Man, He-Man's a good guy, but in my whole multi-universe, He-Man, he drinks a lot, so the liquor ends up getting to his head, and makes him end up, being a kind of a bad guy. So over the course of my whole storyline, you know what I mean? He-Man goes from being like good to like good bad. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I cannot wait till I finish my storyline because a lot of stuff is going to end up coming back to He-Man to haunt him. You know what I mean? He's going to pay
yeah.
for what he's been doing. That's all I can say about that.
So you kind of briefly touched on your childhood toy lines, kind of Ninja Turtles, and you're 40, so that would put you what, 80s child. So late 80s would have been Turtles and probably some assorted stuff, and then the early 90s is when we started getting all the X-Men. Now, in your pictures, you have the images of the Wolverine, and it's that was weird, and it's the what is 93, 94? Can't remember what year that came out. It was a while ago.
Oh, it was a minute. I thought that was that like a Toy Biz Wolverine or something like that. I
Yeah,
forget.
yeah, it was Toy Biz. They were, it was every wave with Toy Biz. So we're gonna go over kind of your toys. Are there any of those toys from your childhood that you've gone back to get?
Oh yeah, I should have sent you that picture. I had a whole display of just stuff that just took me back to back then. You know what I mean? Like with the guy I showed you with the Wolverine and let's say I do want to get a Ghostbusters Firehouse again. I had a lot of connection with that. They're the same thing with getting my old school TMNT Turtles, old school Thundercat Lion-O. Let me think of some other ones. The old school Power Rangers, I know that came out later in the 90s. But
Yeah.
I remember when that show first
Bandai,
came out, it was good.
yeah, the Bandai ones with the flipping head action, those things. Honestly, you could barely classify them as figures sometimes, because they were not the most durable of action figures. I think it was just kind of one of those things where Bandai was just coming into the market over here, and those are some rough figures to play with. I'll tell you that.
Even like you remember like Mighty Max and stuff like that.
Yeah. The little micro playsets, yeah.
Oh yeah, all that good stuff. And it goes in the forth with like with the cartoons too. You know what I mean? They knew how to sell figures to kids with them cartoons.
Oh yeah, they sold the garbage out of it to us. The thing is what our generation and the generation my generation, I'm almost 50. So my generation was the first one to get all of that programming, is what I like to call it. That indoctrination into the consumer end of the spectrum. So we all got those interesting. I'm going to start by sharing your Wolverine. Now, this is one of the toys that brought me back into collecting. I had really Power of the Force and then immediately gravitated toward X-Men because of the cartoon, but I had been reading X-Men for, I don't know, I started reading in probably 86 or so. X-Men was one of those things, and basically it's because they were the misfits and they were the outcasts, and I kind of related to it on a personal level because that's how I felt. Now you got the 12-inch one too. I never understood why I never understood why they gave him a gun. That to me is like, he's his own weapon. He doesn't really need it.
Yeah, he is a gun. You know what I mean? He doesn't need a gun. They just had to give him something.
I guess it was one of those times like, yeah, let's just make this accessory. We'll throw it in there with him because every Wolverine got a gun. Now I can understand when they did the Weapon X Wolverine, where he was
Yeah,
working
that makes
for Department
sense.
H. That makes sense because that's what he did at the time because he wasn't really thinking. He'd been reprogrammed and really wasn't thinking about whether or not he had knives in his forearm. So, all right, so we're gonna go into your He-Man room, I guess. This is your
Yes,
motion room.
this motor room number 1.
All right, we'll see if I got these in order because I kind of tried to make them somewhat a little more. This is just a different shot where you can see the back of your Crystal Castle playset. Here's
All right,
your
no.
attorney auto
No,
mark
this picture right here, that's from my previous where I used to
setup.
live at my previous house. Yeah, my previous
Okay.
setup where the Automart did exist. Unfortunately, the Automart is gone. I still do have the air hockey table that it sits on, but I couldn't get that shit in the basement. You know what I mean? It was just too big to work with.
Yeah,
I had to cut something.
I'm sure. I'm sure if the angles are bad, you just have to use a shelving unit for it.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
set all the stuff back up on it. It's in the garage. You know what I mean? When the time
Okay.
is right, I'll finish it out there. But other than that, no, it didn't make the cut.
Well, I mean, sometimes we got to make the sacrifice for space, right?
That's right.
So
No,
this is
right
more
here.
of your dioramas.
Yeah, I gave you these pictures just to show because in the new pictures, the diorama isn't set up yet. I'm going to do that next week. But when I do set it up, it's going to look something like that. But I still have all like the shelves the same way. You know, the same backgrounds. All that stuff was easily able to come off the wall and go into the next spot.
Oh, so that's on the wall. That's not actually in the. Okay, I
Yeah,
see.
like
You wrapped it around the posts, and okay.
yeah, I had all the art. I had it printed out at Staples, and I had to blow it up to the size that I needed it. And then I got
Okay.
these sticky things that stick on the wall, and it
Yeah,
doesn't mess with the artwork or the art or the walls at all, and it comes right off.
yeah, the command strips kind of stuff. Yeah, that's
Something
cool.
like that, yeah.
No,
But like,
when I do my dioramas, when I get back to building dioramas again, once I get my new place, then I will do very similar things. I will probably create like an entire wall of just one big, 5 shelves of dioramas. So each diorama will be a different one. There'll be one for air, there'll be one for water, there'll be one for forest, and then there'll be one for like bases.
what
So
you doing something like for
that's
like
my
the
thing.
Avatar?
No,
Sounds like the Avatar.
GI Joe. It'll be like for my GI Joe
Ah,
runner based people. I've got my eels, and I've got I'll have at least 2 action soldiers, or action whatever they're called. The frogmen. I'll have 2 of those, and then of course boats will be more than likely. It'll be like a tiered where there'll be like an acrylic base on it, and then there'll be like crinkled up stuff to make it look like water. And then on top of that will be boats because I've got a couple
yeah.
Fortnite boats that I'm going to be customizing at some point.
I had a
So,
way that I did some water. It might be in this one of the display pictures. I did a saran wrap, and I
yeah,
put it over top of like a pitcher of water, and it works. But yeah, no, the reason I did all these displays like that, I wanted something that I could just look at and just, you know what I'm saying, just be happy. Some eye
yeah.
candy. You know what I mean? I don't
Well,
like the traditional just sit it on the shelf and stick them all in a row. Now I
I'm
did
right.
do that
I'm
for
right there
something.
with you. Yeah, I'm right
You
there
know what
with
I
you.
mean?
I can't do the. I need them to be doing something. I don't want them all standing there stoic like it's nobody can play. It does it to me, that kind of display. It's great for people that love those, but me, I want to be able to actually see my figures doing something.
That's right. Now
Create some visual interest.
there's a time and place for it, and we'll get to that picture in a second.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't like them all being like it's a class picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they're on a class picture, and there's everybody on a step.
Now right
I
here,
do
this
kind
is
of like this descending staircase, dungeon set.
that right there. I got the what is that? What is that on the top of that? I'm losing.
Fright zone.
Yes,
Fright zone.
yes.
Yeah.
I had a shelf, and I wanted to repurpose it, so I figured I could just make that like the lower, you know what I'm saying, dwellings of the
Yeah.
fright zone. You know what I mean? So I actually hooked up a whole little dungeon pictures and stuff like dungeon area where Hordak and all his Horde troopers, they torture people in the Motu world down in there.
Yeah, you can see the guy hanging upside down. So.
Oh yeah, he's getting tortured. That's the palace guard. He messed up.
Now the Crystal Castle is an interesting choice. Now this is an Inhumanoid, right? The guy.
Yes. Oh yes. I had that. That's one of them figures that I had to get when I was a child. So I had to hunt him down on eBay and buy him now. I love that.
The Inhumanoids cartoon was an interesting cartoon to say the least, and thankfully it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I watched it actually recently, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I don't remember this, but okay, let's watch it."
I haven't seen it in a long time. I have to review it again.
It's one of those times where I'll go through and I'll watch some of those cartoons I watched either as a kid and like I can't watch the Filmation He-Man at all.
It's tough.
It's bad. It's hard for me to watch. It really is. But as a kid, that was my jam. I was going to watch that come hell or high water. I had VHS tapes of it. It was one of those things that as a kid, it was great. As an adult, I'm looking at it going, no. One of the few shows that held up was Thundercats. It holds up pretty well.
Oh, yes. So a lot of shows got better. Like, there was another one I was just about to say. Gargoyles. You remember Gargoyles?
Gargoyles is a fantastic show until you get to season 3, and then it flies off the rails because they got rid of the main writer. So, once they got rid of the main writer, it was all downhill from there.
Batman Beyond, that still holds up. You watched that lately, Batman Beyond?
I love Batman Beyond. I love all of the Batman shows. I have not. DC, as far as their animated universe, I really haven't seen that many bad films or bad shows. Their animation has always gotten the right side of those characters.
Oh, yes.
And for whatever reason, when they try to translate that to live action, it always falls flat. The Zack Snyder Justice League is decent, but it's better if you watch it in the black and white version, which is Justice is Gray, whatever they want to call it. I actually like that version better, and I don't know why. But for the most part, for whatever reason, DC's animated studios get it right, but their live action studios kind of drop the ball every time, at least a little bit. And that's just my opinion. So
I see where you're coming from. I feel you on that. But I have enjoyed them. I'm glad they're doing something. You know what I mean? I hope that the new ones, they turn it around. The new Superman movie. But I don't know.
I have faith in James Gunn. If you've watched any of his movies, you know what you're in for. He has the right mix of humor. He has the right mix of action. He knows what he's doing. Because the Suicide Squad, the second one, was a vast improvement over the first one. First one was rough, even with Will Smith. I mean, you would think with Will Smith it would at least have something, but it didn't. And I figured out why we were watching I couldn't remember why I kept thinking Merman's voice was so familiar, and then I realized it sounds exactly like Bane from Harley Quinn. If you haven't seen that series, I recommend it highly. It is a riot. Bane is an absolute show stealer every damn episode. I love that Bane. That Bane is awesome. Now, is that a Bane that's real? No, because the comic Bane is scary as shit. He will screw up your life. Now, here's an attorney. And now, is this a vintage or is this the most recent one?
That's the most recent one. Now we're in Motu Room number 2.
And that's your Hordak carrier that you got, the 3D printed one?
Yeah, the Horde Command Crawler.
Holy, that is really damn big. Yeah,
somebody
that's
made
big as Eternia.
They shipped it from the UK. Yeah, it's really big.
That's a little too big. That's what I'm worried about when I'm thinking, 1/12 scale vehicles. Now, my HISS tank is pretty massive, but I have a Dragonfly that I'll get sometime this year. And I'm thinking to myself, as we get into vehicles for this, it's going to take up so much space.
But if you want it accurate, they got to be that big. That Horde tank has to be that big.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a tank. That looks like somebody's, mobile house.
No, oh, this
So
right
I wanted
here.
to show the whole display before we go into each individual section. I do like your lighting. You use the little the LED running little strips.
Yeah, the same ones you get for a TV. That's the same ones I used.
Yeah. And I've got the puck lights for mine. So I like the puck lights because I can turn them on and off individually. So if I don't have to have the whole thing on, it saves.
Well, no, you can turn them off individually too. Each one, the remote. I just point at it, boom, boom, turn it off, change the color. But every single one on these, like this whole shelving, everything, these are all custom figures that I did.
Okay. I was wondering which ones were your customs. Now these are all the ones that you've done. Okay. So you got some Snake Men, you got a Mr. Freeze kind of sitting in the center there. Or
Well, this whole section right here, like I try to keep them like theme wise. So right here, these are all people that could either was in the Motu, world that didn't get a figure yet in the Origins line, or just figures that I just made up. Like I made up a whole bunch of Snake Men in the front, and then the second layer, you know what I'm saying? You see a couple more Snake Men, just made up people, and then in the very back, you see some people that I wish were in the Motu line that they haven't done yet.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's your DC shelf. These are your customs or mix of both?
No, this whole shelving with everybody is people I made.
Okay. So I love your creativity. That's that's part of this hobby that's fantastic is that we get people like you and me who look at a figure and we're like, well, I can do something different with that.
Well,
you take something and you make it something else.
I would say a lot of these figures I made them over the span of like 2 months last year, probably from like April to July, something like that. I just went on a custom bender. You know what I'm saying? Just any type of figure that I seen, I'm okay, I'll get this figure on eBay just for the head. And I'll take the head and then I'll have all these body parts and I'm like, all right, let me make this figure because to me personally, the Motu form, the style, the buck is the best for any figure. So I wanted to make every single figure that I had into a Motu version. That's why I did it.
And this is your video game shelf.
Yeah, pretty much.
And TV. You got some TV and Dragon Ball Z. But some Marvels. I love the Spawn. The Spawn's fantastic. Kratos is good too. I just think there's so much creativity there, and I do like it. The Cable, that's interesting, and the Wolverine is definitely different. I'll give you that one.
I had to do something that you see behind him. You got Captain Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah. And I don't remember the duck's. I don't remember the duck's name, but I know it's. And then you got Papa Smurf.
Yeah, it was a Dead-Eyed Duck. That was his name. Yeah, Papa Smurf, and then you got what's the word? That other Smurf. I forget his name, but that one he's a flasher. You know what I'm saying? He's naked. He's just got a black trench coat on.
So he's
got his junk out. Yeah, Flasher Smurf. His junk is right there. You just can't see it, but it's there.
And this is your turtles. Now, these are these turtles of Grayskull turtles?
No, well, see, here's the thing. I made all these like 8 months before the Turtles of Grayskull line came out. These are my versions.
Okay. There's a Bane sitting up there at the top.
Oh yeah, he couldn't fit. His ass was too big. You know what I mean? He couldn't fit on the standard shelf, so I had to put him up there.
It is Bane, so let's be honest. He doesn't fit on any standard shelf.
Yeah, I had to make him accurate.
Well, I have the McFarlane Megafig, and then I have the one from Last Night on Earth. So I have two different Banes. And the Last Night on Earth one is just one big chunk of plastic that falls over all the time because his upper torso is just so massive and his legs are so small relative to it. So, and this is a little bit of everything here. This is what I would like to call the catch-all shelf, right? You got Biker Mice from Mars.
It's like the TV show.
Yeah.
And like real life people.
Thundercats, RoboCop. Looks like you got a Michael J. Fox, I'm assuming, because that looks like Back to the Future.
That's right.
And then Darth Vader, and then of course horror icons back there. And then you at the back of that, you got Karate Kid, Mr. T, Rambo, the Terminator in 2 different forms. I mean, it's cool. I love seeing this stuff. This stuff's fantastic.
Oh, you said it also had Walter White was in there too.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me go back.
From Breaking Bad. You see,
Okay, I
and
see.
Jesse Pinkman. He's got the tray right there with the crystal meth. Yeah, he's there.
You got a Popeye, but no Bluto.
Yeah, I didn't make him yet. I also got Johnny Knoxville was in there, and also who's that guy? The guy that likes to paint? Bob Ross. Bob Ross was in there too. Yeah, he's right there, right behind the biker mice.
Oh, okay, I get it. I see the massive fro now. Okay, there we go. So this is kind of interesting. We get McFarlane making 25 Batmans. So
yeah, so I had to do it.
Some of these are based on those designs because it looks like they kind of are.
Oh yeah, that's true. A lot of them figures, it's easy to strip them down to get the good pieces that I need.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's cool. I like it. Now,
that whole red shelf, that's all customs that I bought from different people.
Okay. And the Big Beast Man, is that the Super 7 stuff? I can't
remember. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this is the entrance to that room, I guess. All right. So you sent me some things for your home arcade section, so we'll kind of go through those.
Yeah, nobody's seen this yet. I'm probably do a home arcade tour next week. I'm still working on it.
That's a lot of arcade machines. I'm just telling you.
Well, that was my previous addiction.
Yeah, no. Which one of them was your favorite, though?
It's a hard decision. There's one that was I had a personal deck made for me on the Street Fighter Big Blue. But if I had to pick just one, I would probably pick the Act Games Legends Ultimate, which was in one of the previous pictures. Right there. Go back again. One more time. Right there. Right next to the Knight. That big one right there. That has every single game on it. I bought a special SD card. So it's got everything. Everything from PlayStation 2 down. Arcade, Nintendo, SNES, Genesis, everything is on there.
Nice. And Allison is letting us know that as of now, McFarlane has announced the 97 Batman, 81 Jokers, 36 Robins, 17 have the wrong cape, 9 has the right cape, the rest have no cape, 39 Batwings, 22 Batmobiles, and a skeleton with a bat symbol on it. There's people in this chat that would love a skeleton with a bat symbol on it. I'm just saying. All right, so
that's crazy.
Next one. So it's kind of cool because this kind of setup that you had, and I'm assuming this is the old house, right?
No, this is my new place.
Okay. I kind of like that you have like the little concession sort of stand by the TV. It's kind of interesting.
I'm still working on that. Like when we get to the movie room, I ordered a whole bunch of stuff over Amazon. I'm just waiting for it to come in. Like I gotta put LED lights around the whole ceiling in both rooms. I still got some stuff to do.
It never ends, right?
Nope, but it's almost done. And I cannot wait. Because once I'm done with all this, then I don't have to worry about it. And I can go back to doing what I enjoy, which is making the Motu stories. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, it's cool. I love the arcade. It looks cool. Now this is your cinema room.
Yeah, I still gotta hide the cord. I'm gonna have a little concession stand in there. I still got a carpet coming from there. A whole bunch of other stuff. It ain't done yet. But I just figured, I'm showing you stuff, so I'll show you right now.
Let's just take care of it all at once, right?
That's right. I had to show people why I call myself Mr. Home Arcade. The name came from somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
It did. Now here's the part.
Oh,
folks.
Yeah.
This is every collector's dilemma. It just sits and stays in storage until we actually get around to messing with it. This is what we do. This is what my daughter's garage currently looks like. With all of my stuff in the box. And all of my stuff stored on the shelving unit. So yeah, no, I totally get it. It's know what?
That's all great customizable stuff. Yeah, this is like where I customize figures at. There's different body parts and weapons all split up and organized.
So it's your fodder cage. That's what you're calling
it. Yes, so the whole room is. All that shit is fodder. There's right there. Each one has the top part has heads, followed by hands, followed by arms, torsos, legs, and then extra bodies at the bottom.
Hey, that's how we whirl. I mean, that's it. And here's obviously the station where you're doing
Yeah,
something there.
I gotta clean it up a little bit. It's a little bit messy, but I
You
was
know
just
what?
taking pictures.
As a customizing station, it looks about like every other customizing station I've ever seen. If it's too organized, I worry that you're not doing anything. See, and then there's
That's right.
this.
Yeah.
This is the great shame. That's why it says danger restriction area, no trespassing. This is where the toys go to die or be forgotten, right?
Well,
That's
no,
kind of what we're.
no. Well, behind all that stuff, yeah, you got tubs and tubs and tubs of toys that I will probably never touch. You know what I'm saying? But all that shit right there in the front, that was
Yeah,
stuff that I had on a display, which used to be on that stand
yeah,
right there, but
yeah.
it didn't make the cut. You know what I'm saying? Now I got two multi rooms, so I can't display that stuff anymore. So I'm gonna display it in there, but I didn't get a chance to take it out the box.
Yeah. You know what? Every collector, I promise you, has that room or has that area that looks exactly like that. I haven't met one that hasn't yet.
If they don't, they ain't into the hobby.
They're not being honest about it. They're hiding the shame. The shame room is what I call that in my house. It's the shame room.
No,
So
you're right.
when you started collecting, did you prefer kind of established franchises, or do you branch out from that and try any independent lines, or is it? I know it's just Motu for the most part, but it looks like your bits and pieces kind of go everywhere. So I'm assuming
That's
that there's more lines in Mr. Home Arcade's Motu customs than.
Oh yeah, I should have showed you. I should have showed you them other pictures. Because at a point in time, like on that one shelf in the one room, I redid it. The top part used to be X-Men, and then the second part used to be like Marvel figures, and then NECA. What was that? NECA TMNT, and then the bottom part was just random, figures that went together. You know what I mean? But ever
Yeah,
since I went gun ho in the Motu, I put all that shit in the box. And it's a shame. Look, them figures, some of them are like $100 a piece. To get them old Marvel Legends figures, it's a lot of money. But I'm gonna display it. But right now, I had to focus on Motu. That's my baby right now.
that's kind of how we do, right? We get to those points where we're going to work on this one specific area, then when we get around to it, it's some point later, maybe, right? It's the
Plus,
I got to have
plus all
time.
that stuff, it's like it's worth money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All that's worth money.
yeah.
20 years, it's gonna skyrocket.
We hope.
I just that's what I make myself feel better saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny because I think the '90s glut, all of us bought into that, especially with the power of the force, and then we were all hunting down those short lightsabers with the long um, tray, or the Boba Fett with the half circle on his hand. There was that whole collector glut that was going on, and now most of those figures you can buy 3 for $10. It's interesting because I think a lot of us thought that they would be worth more because of what was the original series was being priced at. I sold all of my vintage Star Wars in 2022, and I sold a 12-inch Boba Fett that I had the box for, and the back, and the all the accessories. It was 100% complete, and the little pinner book that came with it, that and all of the basically everything that should have been in that box was in it. The box was a little rough, but I sold that for $250
Why did you sell it?
because I didn't need it anymore. I've gotten to the point I wanted to use that money to jumpstart my collection, my new
I
collection.
feel you.
We
Yeah,
as collectors, we go through those periods where we kind of thin out what doesn't make us happy anymore. So I sold that. I had a Chewbacca, same thing with the box. And the boxes weren't in great shape, but they were, they're stuff that I have literally taken care of since I was 4, 5, 6, somewhere along those lines. Well, 6 to 8 probably. And then I sold all of my Power of the Force pretty much, except for the stuff from Jabba's Palace, the um, Tusken Raider and the Bantha and the Rancor pit with Luke. Those my son has, my oldest boy. And I don't miss them because they were really literally just sitting in storage boxes the size, those large size moving boxes that you can get.
Oh
They were
yeah.
about double the size of that box. So they literally took up. I had 24 48 shelves in my garage. So it literally one of those boxes took up that entire shelf. So I ended up, at that point it's taking up space. It's not making me happy. It needs to go away. So I sold all of that for about 2,600. And that's including all of my, 77 to 83 Star Wars figures that were complete and in good shape. They probably would have graded out if I had sent them for grading. And I would have been, but that's just an extra expense that I didn't want to do. It's like, you know what? Somebody else will get happiness out of this. And of course, about 2 weeks after that, I went back to the shop that I sold them to. And of course, all of my figures are in their display cases. So I knew he knew what he got. And I had taken care of my stuff and had been basically in storage and not messed with for, I don't know, 20, 25 years, probably. My biggest regret is my ex-wife selling all of my GI Joe stuff for $75, including my flag. So yeah.
God, that's rough. That's
You know
hard,
what?
man.
At the time, it was for a wedding. So this was my ex-wife, not my current ex-wife. My first ex-wife. Yeah, I should clarify. So it was one of those things where, I miss those toys, but I know how much space that flag took up. And there was never going to be a place where I could really display it safely. And in high school, it was displayed in the attic with all the figures on it, all the vehicles running around it. I had a GI Joe section in the attic. I had a Thundercats section in the attic. I had a Motu section in the attic. And then, in between the Thundercats and Motu generally was like Silverhawks, and my Transformers were all over that. They were interacting with everybody, but I literally had all these setups. For lack of a better word, I had dioramas in my attic for several years in high school, which was of course, if I was up in the attic, it was in, nobody saw it and it didn't take up all that space that you needed for something else. So, yeah. So, does the community of collectors have any sway over your interests in a given line, or, anything about where someone's opinion has sway on whether or not you get something?
Not if I'm into it. Like, let's just say, for instance, Motu. Like, let's just say, oh, somebody's not feeling up. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a
Yeah.
completionist when it comes to Motu. I'm gonna buy the shit regardless. You know what I mean? Now, there's other things that do sway me. Like, let's just say, Mad Hatter. You know what I mean? Like, I got an example for you. So, last year they were releasing something on a Kickstarter. It was the Back to the Future car, the DeLorean. You know what I mean? And it was the last day of the Kickstarter, and he was talking about it, and I didn't have no interest in it whatsoever. But then, he started talking about it, and it sounded so good, I had to jump on it. You know what I mean? So I backed it, and I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna give it to He-Man. You know what I mean? But the whole point of the story is like I got swayed. You know what I mean? And he did the same shit to me with the Mezco cartoon turtles that just came out.
Yeah, that whole set. Yeah,
Expensive $400 set, but
yeah.
it swayed me. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? So I just got the shipping notification. I'm probably never gonna open it. You know what I mean? But hey, that's an addiction right there.
Yeah, and that is the habit that grows as we collect, as we think we need more and more. And speaking of that, let me get to my folder. So let me go into painful thoughts. And can't read the damn words because apparently I'm old and my eyes suck.
I just wanted to backtrack on something that you was talking about.
Sure.
You was talking about how you got rid of a whole bunch of your stuff that you was collecting for a long time. Me, myself, I don't want to sell nothing. You know what I mean? Like with
Yeah.
them home arcades, I should probably get rid of half of that shit, but I can't. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. I just like to keep it. You know what I mean? I went through some stuff when I was a child where I had
Yeah.
all my stuff, and then when my dad passed away, all that stuff I couldn't take it to my mom's house, so all that shit got left there. You know what I mean? So maybe that makes it so I just want to have a connection to stuff. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to sell it. I just want to collect it all. Maybe that's
Well,
it.
here's an appropriate painful thought for you. Do you ever feel like you're holding on for dear life, only to realize that you're not really sure what you're grasping so tightly to in the first place? And this is one of those things where when I decided that I wanted to focus most of my collection on GI Joe, um, I had to let go of my Star Wars collection, and I wasn't. There was a time where you couldn't have told me, you couldn't have held a gun to my head and make me sell that. But I realized that I had to let go. So hang on. Ah, here's the other thing. Many of us think that if we have enough money, everything else will fall into place. We'll be healthier, our relationships will be stronger, we'll have more time, just as long as that bank balance is high. Now, with us as collectors, we have this thing where our bank balance gets nailed every so often, right? Um, but if we take out the word money and we have enough stuff, we occupy ourselves with our stuff. Our stuff is part of us, right? That's why you say you don't want to get rid of the arcades, is because they're part of you, right? They're a
Yes, sir.
significant part of you. They have meaning. And I think as we ascribe meaning to things, we become integrated with those thoughts and those aspects of the collections, or those things that we have spent time and money with, and we become enamored with it, and it becomes part of our character. But when it becomes unhealthy is when it becomes the only thing we are.
I don't know. I just don't buy nothing for no reason. If I was
There
going
you
to
go.
buy it just to sell it, then that's silly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't believe in selling stuff. I mean, unless, there's an absolute need, or, I'm saying, oh, I got to sell this stuff because I'm moving or whatever the case. But if there's no other reason, I shouldn't have bought it in the first place. So I'm not selling nothing.
Yeah. And for the most part, I sell the stuff that I outgrow or change, that I no longer want. And for the most part, I make my money back. So I'm not, as long as I'm not selling at a huge loss, I'm okay with selling it. Like the Action Force stuff that I was into for a while, and then just, the creator started rubbing me the wrong way. And I was just like, you know what? I don't have an interest in this. I don't need it anymore, because Hasbro was pumping out GI Joe stuff like it was going out of business. So I didn't have to have that line anymore. So it became ancillary. So it was just like, I put it up in a box, and I kept a couple of the figures. The rest of them pretty much have sold. Hell, one of them, I put up 10 figures and as lots, as two different lots, and they sold in 20 minutes
I'm
on
not
eBay.
surprised. It's
So,
eBay. Oh, I'm so addicted to eBay and buying lots like that. I hate it, but I love it.
well, you hate it for your wallet, but you love it for yourself, right?
Yeah, and here's something that I tell myself. Like, all right, let's just say, for instance, when I bought that Mezco $400 for 4 figures,
Yeah.
I told myself, the me in the future, I'm gonna be happy. But the me right now, I'm gonna be pissed because I just lost out on $400. You know what I mean? But 2 weeks later, I'll be okay. I won't think
And
about it.
that's the good thing sometimes. But we play Russian roulette with that, though. With anything that we collect and we think that, hey, it's going to raise in value, we're playing Russian roulette with it. Let's be honest.
Oh,
We
I'm
hope.
not even talking about value wise. I'm just saying, just in general.
Oh, okay.
I'll be happy later. I'm not worried
Okay.
about selling it. Like that's quite. I
Okay.
feel like, yeah, everything will hold value, but I'm just buying it because I just love it. I
Yeah.
want it.
Well, and
Shit.
that's part of the hobby, is sometimes we buy it because it means. But turtles obviously were a part of your childhood, right? You said it
Oh
was your
yes.
line, so it makes sense that you would want something that's premium to represent that childhood. I have a Mezco Destro. It's the only Mezco I bought. I won't buy another one. Not a fan of the fabric clothing. Now the turtles don't have that issue for the most part, but it's a fabulous figure. And honestly, I paid 100 for it. If I had just waited a few weeks, I would have paid 60 for it. So hey, life happens that way sometimes.
It is, if you want it, you'll get it. Like for me, for
You
instance,
do, yeah, exactly.
some of these figures, I spend way more than what I should have spent. You know what I mean? To give me that Prince Adam 2-pack, I bought that shit for $80 just so I could get it a little bit early. It's just off of eBay. It is what it is.
Yeah, and sometimes we do that. And the thing with collectors is we can be one of two ways. We can be impatient and pay more, or patient and hope that we find it. That's another place where we start to play the hard and fast rule of, well, if I don't pre-order it, I won't get it. But if I do pre-order it, I'm probably guaranteed to get it, but I don't know when I'm going to get it. If I do get it, at some point it'll be in the future, right? We're always planning for that future thing. So have you always collected something, toys or anything else? Did you collect toys all the time, or did you stop and come back? What was the thing specifically that brought you back into toys?
That's a great question. Back when I was younger, I would collect video games was my thing. You know what I mean? I love playing them, love buying them. Another thing that I still have to this day, one of the only things that I have from my childhood, I used to collect comic cards.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like Marvel Masterpieces, stuff like that. DC cards, Batman cards.
I have card boxes full of those.
Oh, yes. I save them all. I got them all nice and organized. And remember, there used to be the big boom where everybody was buying them thinking they're going to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That shit ain't worth that much.
Marvel Universe ones, there was one that was great because they gave you the entire set and all the special cards in one box. So you didn't have to go out and buy 45, 50 packs to try to hope you would get the ones you wanted. You just had to buy that one box and it had everything in it. It was fantastic.
That's
one time I was happy with the card collection. The rest of the time it was just like, I don't need 25 Wolverines. Come on.
One thing I'm glad that I didn't really get into was that whole Pokemon phase. You know what I mean? I love playing the games. The games was good. You know what I mean? But they're not the cards. Nothing like that. I'm good on that. But all right, so let me keep going. So after the comic cards and then the video games, then I kind of stopped. You know what I mean? Like once you get to a certain point, later teens and stuff like that, young adult, I had priorities. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had parents buying me shit no more. So I had to work my way up. So once I got to like an adult where I actually had money that I could play around with, then I started to get back into the buying the arcades. You know what I mean? I did that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And after I got bored with that, I had to spend money on something. I'm not a person that likes to gamble or go out to the bar or something like that. I try to say I'm spending my money on stuff that ain't hurting nobody. That's what I try to tell my wife. You know what I mean? Like, you know that room right there that hold all the extra stuff in it, like all the extra toys that aren't open up. I don't like it when she goes in there, because then she starts talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's why I have all them signs on the door. Do not go in there.
It's like
no wife zone.
You might come home one day and there might be a mysteriously empty room in there. You'll be like, well, what happened?
This is gonna break my heart. You know what I'm saying? That shit better not happen. That's why I don't go down there. There's no point to go down there. It's just unnecessary arguments. You know what I'm saying? Why are you buying all these toys?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's my room.
I ain't hurt nobody. You know what I mean? So so that's where it all started from. Now I'm just back into the toy stuff. And I think I'm gonna stick around with this stuff for a while. I'm not getting sick of it. I'm damn sure better not get sick of it after doing all these displays. You know what I mean?
You know what? At some point, we all kind of, and that's a question we'll come to in a little bit. What I want to do now is I want to kind of say hey to the chat, just because I haven't been ignoring them, but we've been busy having a good conversation. But before we go on to the next set of questions,
the chat.
Before we go on to the next set of questions, I want to acknowledge everybody who showed up taking their time out of their Wednesday hump day to come visit us. There's Bud from My Buddy's Customs. Miss Allison Troy. Hello. Bill from Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Cobweb Collector is here. Mr. Wonderful, what is up? Travis. Lunar Eclipse Custom Studio. Ooh.
Oh, that's my boy right there.
All right. Kenzo's Creations. What's up, Kenzo? Thanos Copter. Hey, hey. Toy Connections Ken. What's up?
Good old Ken.
Nostradamus Toys. Yeah, my moderator. Thankfully, we didn't have anybody. You know.
Toy Jesus right there.
Yeah. And then Fatford Few. What's up, man? And Happy Accident has showed up. This is the guy that I was telling you about off, when we were off camera. You need to go check out his stuff. There's some really cool, interesting stuff that he does. I'm
gonna check it out. I promise you.
I do enjoy his reviews. I do enjoy some of his storytelling. It's funny. It's humorous. It's a lot like your stuff. You might get a kick out of it.
I'm gonna definitely check it out.
So, are there any? All of us collectors, we all have what I like to call the rules. These are the collection rules. These are the things that are sacrosanct that we don't change. We try not to change. Let's be honest. We all kind of fudge the rules a little bit. Let's be honest. But my rule is I cannot buy any one single item that is more expensive than the first car I owned. So that's my hard and fast. This is the hard line. So if a toy comes out and it's more than $550, it will never be purchased by me, no matter how cool it is. And that's just
crazy.
Me.
I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? But that's hard, man. Like that Thundercats layer. I was over that.
You know price. What? You don't have any idea how hard it was to say no to that.
I can't believe it.
Super 7 can do a play set. Their figures, on the other hand, they need a lot of work. And that's from having several of their figures and realizing what I'm dealing with. It's more of, their Joe line is terrible. I bought 2 figures when they were $10 a piece. And I regretted buying them at that price. But yes, Jacob, 549 is the number. So if anything comes under 549 or less, it may be a purchase. Now I have to be really, really wanting it at that point. So it's one of those things. So do you have any collection rules for your collection?
Oh, that's a good question.
Home Arcade is, what is the thing that says, you know what, I need this, I want it, I have it. Or what are the things that say I don't want it, I can't get it, I don't need it? What are those rules for you?
I don't have any rules, sir. I don't. I just know the limit. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit. Like, let's just say, for instance, there's an eBay auction. Like, there was just an eBay auction not too long ago for all these custom figures from a good buddy that I love his custom work, Mega Custom X. You know what I mean? He posted a whole bunch. I had to buy every single one. I didn't care, no matter what it took. You know what I mean? I got a new method. And when I do these eBay auctions, I bid first and I bid last. You know what I mean? And I make sure when I bid last that golden bullet, when I'm sitting up there with my sniper rifle and I shoot that bullet off, that it's going to hit the target no matter what. I don't care what anybody else bids. And that's how I won them all. You know what I mean? So no limit. There's no rules. If I want it, I'm going to get it. And that's the only rule. You know what I mean? If I follow that rule, I'll be okay.
Bill is putting you on blast for clowning him when he ranted about the price of Eternia.
There's nothing wrong with that price. I understand. I mean, they got to make their money. You know what I mean? But that Eternia, that's a once in a lifetime thing. Like, we never thought it was going to come again. You know what I mean? Like the vintage one, we all are upset if we missed out on it. We was kids. Now we're adults. They're bringing it back out. We got every single figure, and they bring us the creme de la creme of play sets. You better go buy it.
Yeah.
No matter what it takes.
There are those times where it's really tempting to go in on something like the Cat's Lair was extremely tempting for me, but I was like, you know what, I can't justify it. Even if it was on a payment plan, I can't justify it. So you know what?
That's one of your top 3 favorite lines.
It is.
What I heard.
It is. It is one of my top 3 favorite lines. one of those times that I'm just like, you know what? I have to be more rational because I try so many different lines, and I like to have a little bit of variety. Yeah, Joe is my primary line, but I've got Mythic and Cosmic Legions. I've got Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I've got Marvel Legends. I've got multiverse DC multiverse figures. So I have a lot of different figures in my collection. And it's just for me. I like to have a little bit of variety in my displays. I also like to have a little bit of different things. So I'm just at some point I have to realize that space and money are always going to be those two big things for me. Um, and that's just where I keep my collection rules. Now, the other kind of rules that I have for my collection, and this kind of segues into the next section where I have figures specifically that are in box only. Um, all of my modern 25th anniversary and later Joes, they're all on cards. They're not taken off. I even recarded some vintage ones just to put them on cards so that I'm going to be putting them up on the wall again so that I walk into that room. It's going to remind me of being in that Toys R Us aisle where it was just solid lines of toys on both sides. I miss those days. Got a couple of
I
people
agree.
coming in. Rhea Black and Gap After Dark. Hello, hello. So, on your collection, what determines what stays in a box and what determines what comes out of the box?
That's a great question. For right now, if it's Motu and I already got it, if I didn't open it up yet, it's getting open. You know what I mean? At first, I used to collect them all and not open them up. This is when I was back collecting the arcades. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I would buy the Motu, put it in a storage room, or I had a storage facility. You know what I mean? I would put it there, out of sight, out of mind. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But then once I stopped buying the home arcades, I had to bring all that shit out. I wanted to see
Yeah.
it. I might, unfortunately, I might die tomorrow. You never know. I want to touch it. I want to
Yeah.
experience that shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I open all them up. But other than that, like a lot of this other stuff, like I'll buy it. It's gonna stay in the box unless I
Yeah.
feel like touching it. You know what I mean? Unless I got a use for it or something like that, or if I'm just bored and I want to make it feel like Christmas, I'm gonna open that stuff up. But I
Yeah.
always keep the boxes. Like with every single Motu figure I got, it's a shame and it wastes space. But I save every single box. God forbid if something happens to me, the price increases if you have them
Yeah.
boxes. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
when I finally go to get the rest of my stuff out of my ex's house, the attic is full of boxes of empty boxes.
I don't
Like
blame you.
literally full of empty boxes. Full of boxes. So
That's
it's
how it be.
it's a bad addiction to keep the box, but I've learned that the boxes can make all the difference in how you sell it.
Oh hell yeah! People love that
So
stuff.
at some point, I'll get that all together. It'll organize and it'll put it up in another attic. So it's just one of those things where there's too many boxes up there to bring over here. They just would literally take up their entire garage on top of the toys. I haven't brought all my toys over either. Most of them, not all. There's some that I left for my son, but you know, I'll get to those at some point.
Hey, I
So
got a question for you, real
okay.
quick now. I know you said you got kids and stuff. I got kids too. Dude, do they care about your hobby at all? You know what I mean? My kids don't give a shit.
Well,
They can care less.
my youngest is autistic, so no. My middle child, which is my 16-year-old, he sort of collects figures, but he asks for specific ones. Um, he likes he's got a couple Gamorrean guards. I got him the black series of that. He's got a few Batman figures. He likes the Killer Croc Mega Fig. He's got that one currently. Um, there's some stuff that he likes and he thinks it's cool and he'll put it up, but he doesn't have he's more of the video games, hanging out with his friends online kind of kid. But I think in a way I could probably sway him to toy collecting, but we'd have to see on that one. So, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, man, she was a Bratz through and through kid. I can't tell you how much Bratz stuff that we had at one point, but it was a lot. I mean, we had like a dancing, singing stage. Of course, we had the Bratz car that everybody loves. I don't have that car anymore. We sold it in a garage sale, but it's interesting how my kids have come up and doing a lot of different things, and they're not in. I know video games for me for a long time was a big thing too. Pretty much from really, I don't know, I would say 12 on. So probably 12 to, I would say now. I mean, I played God of War Ragnarok last night. It's the first time I played a video game in a couple months. And I forgot how much fun I was having, and I wasn't paying attention to time. So I'll probably be doing that a little bit more since I have time. Now that I have time. So is there anything that you don't do with your toys currently that you'd like to do?
No, I would say I'm pretty much living the dream when it comes to doing what I want with these toys. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the sky's the limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me doing these Motu stories and whatnot. That's me basically, you know what I'm saying, living out my childhood, but just doing it as an adult. You know what I mean? With a little bit more knowledge and skill to pull off what I want to see, what I might envision in my imagination. You know what I mean? That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay. So what is your favorite all-time line? What is it and why?
Shit. Man, that's a hard one. You know what I mean? This is top three. I've always been a fan of the TMNT. I'll never forget that. It always holds a place in my heart. And then another one, obviously the Motu. It definitely grew on me a little bit, you know what I'm saying, older down the line. But I did have Motu as a child too. You know what I mean? But just nowadays, that line just hits hard. You know what I mean? It has just the style of the big muscly type of figures and stuff like that. I just love that shit. And then let me think of another one. Oh God, the DC with the Batman. Obviously, you can see I got a lot of Batman figures. I love to be some Batman. So that's all I have to say. Them right there. TMNT, Batman, and right after that, I will go with Thundercats.
Okay.
I love the intro to that. I'm a big guy on music and music intros.
Yeah.
Oh, the Thundercats, it hits hard. So yeah, them right there.
So does the lore around a franchise or an IP, does that kind of dictate your interest? So if it was something that didn't have a whole lot of media with it. So, I mean, we've got Motu, which has an absolute ton of media, and we'll kind of cover here in a second, kind of that media and the media reception, and kind of, we'll cover that here in a minute. But does that lore of the property influence your decision?
I mean, it definitely helps. You know what I mean? Helps spark interest. But if there was something, if it just catches my eye, if something looks decent, I see some big, strong figure that looks really decent, I might buy it. Some robot figure, I don't know, I might just buy it.
Well, I mean, I think we all kind of get those points where we kind of like, that looks cool. I think I'm just going to buy that because it looks cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's we're like moths to the flame, right? We're just there it is. So, one of the things that happens sometimes is with lore is it changes over time, and it kind of sometimes can sour people's opinions on that particular property. Now, you had a video that was obviously controversial, and
that was a good segue right there. I like that.
It was obviously controversial because you expected the lore to be different than what it was. The expectation in your head was higher than what you got. Now, sometimes in social media, we have this tendency to share more than we should and not think about the consequences of what we share. I'm very intentional about what I put up on my Instagram. It's not that I am hiding anything of myself, but I don't know how much I want to put out there of my individual struggles. Now, you can see that I'm struggling by what I post and what I share on my stories. You can see where my mind's at on any given day. And some days it's deeper and more introspective, and some days it's more of me trying to process through what I'm feeling and dealing with. Um, and I'm sure that video for you was something that you didn't kind of expect the backlash. And I don't think anybody would but sometimes we have to learn that sometimes our opinions don't necessarily make for positive things for others. So there's lessons that we learn in doing this, whether we're doing videos like this, where we're doing lives or we're doing videos for ourselves or reviews. It's all a learning curve. And sometimes we have to mea culpa and eat crow because we did something that we wouldn't want someone else to say that about us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
So there's learning lessons in what we do. And I know for you, you've had a lot of private conversations with people over that. And for that, I applaud you, because I know those are hard. They're hard conversations to have sometimes, where we know we screwed up, but we didn't think we'd screwed up when we did it. So it's one of those moments where it shows a lot of your character to do that. So that was a good thing. And yeah, you can't make everybody happy all the time. That's the other thing. A lot of times, no matter what you do, someone will just not be happy. They don't like you. They don't like anything you do. They don't like, how you act. They don't like how you look. They don't like the way that you speak. You can't make everybody happy, but sometimes, that's okay. Sometimes we have to do what we think is fun for us, but we also have to be aware that there are consequences outside of ourselves. And it was a teachable moment, like Thatcher is saying. It was. It's a good thing. And we actually have to have those conversations sometimes, and they're hard and they're unpleasant. And me, I avoid conflict as much as possible. And what I'm finding out is reason I avoided conflict is because of my childhood. I spent most of my childhood in fight or flight. I spent most of my life in fight or flight mode. So I avoid conflict so that I can just be at peace. But the problem is that my needs and my, what I want doesn't matter. I push it down and then it blows up and bad shit happens. So let's go on. I want to talk about the vulnerability necessarily in this live show that we do. Mine is a lot about vulnerability for me and for my guests. And in some instances, that vulnerability comes out with, say, like someone like Warren, who is Master Versal Toy Hunter. He, showed us who he was. Some of us already had seen him, but it was one of those moments where he came out from behind the mask and opened up. So I want to get to the story of why you wear a mask, or why you have the mask as your icon. But I also want to talk about what that means to you, what that barrier means to you as far as yourself. So give us the story of the mask, and then kind of talk about why that's important for you as Mr. Home Arcade.
I mean, I can basically sum that up pretty easily. All right, so back when I used to, you ever play the game Friday the 13th on PS4?
Yeah.
All right, so that game in itself, back to my addiction type of, scenarios, it was so addicting to me. This shit was like cocaine. You know what I mean? I couldn't get enough. I had to keep playing. You know what I'm saying? I had to keep on leveling up. I wanted to get the platinum trophy in that game. And trying to do so, it takes forever. You know what I mean? You got to do so many matches, chasing this and the third. So during my course of playing that game, you know that normally Jason, like in general, Jason does not talk. He's quiet. You know what I mean? So people play that game, they don't really say enough, or they might talk shit here or there. One time I'm playing while I'm leveled up, and this guy just started talking all crazy. You know what I mean? Just come here, I'm gonna chop your ass up. And that shit brought it back. Like when I first played that game, I was scared. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It just brought them feelings. And then after a while, you got numb to it. You're just going through the motions. But when this man started talking crazy to me, it brought that excitement back. So I'm like, you know what? If I start talking crazy, you know what? That might make it more fun for me. So I started posting videos like that. It's just me. I had another channel. It was called Mr. T Run. And on that channel, all I did was post my Jason matches while I'm, going through it. And during these matches, as soon as the match starts, when Jason comes out, I start talking that shit. I'm like, listen, I'm going to chop y'all all up real nice. You better watch out. And then the match starts, and then I was so good at that game. Let me tell you, I knew all the tricks, everything pop up behind somebody. I got your ass and just choke them out. You know what I'm saying? Do something. So that game, it got fun. And then hearing their reaction, people going to talk shit. It's a very high intensity game. You know what I mean? So
any multiplayer game is like that. That's for sure. I mean, everybody talks crap. It's like, really?
Yeah, and then at the end of the match, how they show all the stats, and then you're back in the weight room, everybody's talking shit. So then I just mute my mic. After that, I only turn it on when it's time to be chasing. So I just got used to that. That's how I got, used to just being on the mic doing that stuff. And then that right there, I took that into the home arcade scene. You know what I mean? Which was just a total flip. You know what I mean? Like I ended up joining this. That's when I had my channel CT Jason. So it all started out. I joined this one live stream, this one home arcade YouTuber. He was just bringing in random people. And I got on the mic and I just, started talking how I talk. And it's just kind of like some people was laughing, but they were like, is this guy serious? I just stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Your voice is different enough that when you speak, people are like, is that his real voice?
Yeah, it throws people off. I tell people I got the voice of an angel. You know what I mean? When they want to talk shit. That's just all I say. So, so I ran with it. And I did that for a couple of years. So that I took that with me. So where I did a new channel. Because what I did is I tried to post about toy stuff on a home arcade channel. And the algorithm ain't going to push it to people that, watch that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to switch it up. So I started which at first, why would I switch it to a toy channel and still be called Mr. Home Arcade? Because at first it was supposed to be like a play on my channel. You know what I mean? Like, how with the mask, it's like the Mr. America mask, which everybody knew that was Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? So that's what it was kind of a play on. But then I ended up just totally switching up because my first couple of videos was about home arcade stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I just hate this shit. I can't do it no more. I'm going to Motu, and I'm just going to stick with that. You know what I mean? So I started with my Motu commercials, and I was just doing stuff like that, and then I ended up doing the reviews second. You know what I mean? Only because I got the shit. I might as well talk about it. You know what I mean? But my pride and joy is doing the Motu commercials. I'm my biggest fan, and I post them for me to watch them, and if other people like it, that's a win-win. You know what I mean? So along my course of doing this whole YouTube stuff, I just kept the voice with me. It's something that entertains me. You know what I mean? When I watch these videos, I watch them back 5-10 times. This shit makes me laugh. If I'm driving and I'm like, you know what? That might be funny. I want to do a video where it's saying some shit or doing something like that. And then it makes me laugh. And other people find it funny too. My type of comedy isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? I can't please them all. It is what it is. That goes into what we were just talking about when I did that video. I didn't realize my ignorance to the fact of the shit that I was saying. A couple of things hurt some people. And I honestly didn't realize until, people started coming at me, oh, why are you saying this? Unsubscribe. You know what I mean? This and the third. And then, a lot of other people that I talked to outside of YouTube was talking to me. It was like, listen, you can't really say that stuff, in this day and age. You know what I mean? It just don't fly. Yeah. And then, and there's one or two ways I could have went with it. One could have been like, I don't give a shit. Fuck it, I'm going to say what I want. I don't care. But the other part of me, I actually give a shit. And I didn't mean to hurt them people. So, I started apologizing to people. This, that, and the third. I took the video down. I try to make things right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's still people this day that are upset with me about it. I tried my best. I can only do but so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It comes back to that thing. You took accountability. You made the effort to, talk to the people that came out and were like, hey, this is not okay. And you know what? You do that, and it is what it is at that point. Some people, no matter what you do, they're not going to be happy, right? And the other people that are willing to, hey, it was made at a place where that, I didn't think about it. It wasn't, I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't cognizant of what I was doing. But I think for going forward for you, though, you have that kind of awareness now. So
I
you
haven't
make
touched
that
on them
choice, right?
subjects ever again. You know what I mean? I stopped talking about different shows and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
need that type of drama. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I just talk about the toys. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Yeah, Fatrid says that you definitely sound like a professional wrestler. I gotta say, that does sound like, sounds like it's kind of like a husky Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, this is a lot of people tell me. I got the voice of an angel. I don't know what to say.
Hulk Hogan, if he chain smoked, yeah, there you go.
Hulk Hogan with the Macho Man.
Yeah, there you
Maybe a
go.
little mixture of the two.
So, are there any vintage lines that aren't being remade, by the way? Because we got plenty of them that are coming back and being remade. Are there any vintage lines that you'd like to see redone today?
Oh shit! I mean, they are doing a lot. Even like the Cowboys of Moon Mesa. You seen them
Yeah,
figures?
yeah,
That looks so good.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. It's a hard decision because they've done so many. Like I did not think they were going to bring back the Street Sharks. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And they did a good job on them. I mean, they kept it true to how it used to look, but they gave it more articulation. So I'm
Yeah.
loving that.
Yeah.
So let me
And then
think. Is this? I don't know. They already brought everything back that I
I
might
would
be
like to
into.
see. I would be interested to see what they would do with you in humanoids if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be interesting.
because big monsters, that would be a cool ass thing. Because if you've ever seen a troll from the Mythic Legions line, oh,
Now let me tell you something. Let me talk about that for a second. The Mythic Legions, they make some beautiful figures, and I tried to get into it. I went to ZoloCon. This is the one that just passed, and I bought
mhm,
two of them big ass troll figures. You know what I'm saying? And I bought them
mhm.
because I thought, oh, it'll mix with Motu. I thought they had articulation, but them legs don't move. I was
Yeah,
so let down. I don't even want them.
the
I'm
legs,
hurt.
you have to heat them up a lot, but yeah,
No, they don't
they
have
can be.
articulation. Like the knees don't move. The
Oh,
leg,
okay.
none of that. No ball joints. You know what I'm saying? None of that. I don't like it.
They're ogre scale ones they have some weight issues. I had to put some polyurethane on the uh, leg peg so it would stay steady on my. It was my first wave. I think it was Ragnar. I can't remember. Hang on. I got a box right here. Let me pull it.
The regular figures are
Ragnar.
good.
Ragnar.
They're perfect.
The
I'm so
ogre
glad I
scales
never
are
got
great.
into that.
Yes, the ogre scales are great. They would be perfect for Motu if you wanted a more like a big guy because they're about 8-9 inches tall. They're pretty good size. And they're decent as far as they have a little art. Yeah, okay, there you go. The horses and
They're,
all the
they're
horses are fantastic.
reminding me of the humanoids. How they don't have no articulation. That's just what they
Yeah,
should remind me of. I don't need that. If I want
yeah,
something like that, I buy me a humanoid.
yeah. And I think that's probably because of the weight of the figure is why that probably isn't that way. But I would at least that would be my guesstimate on it because I can't imagine how much that engineering would need to be based on the weight of those figures. Because that's a kill somebody.
Yeah, it is.
You throw that at somebody, somebody's dying.
It's a lot
So
of plastic.
that's a lot of plastic. So what draws you to a figure? What makes you say I gotta have that one? What are the things that when you look
Oh,
at this
it's
is what
it's
I
part of it needs to bring some type of nostalgia to me. You know what I mean? And if it ain't even
need?
about that, it's just gotta look decent. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? If it looks cool. Like I don't know. I just like some nice big buff old figures. You know what I mean? Like that Dragon Ball Z type of strong, type of He-Man, type of
yeah,
strong looking figures. If they look decent,
yeah.
I'll buy. That's
I
what it
think that
does.
was the whole thing with He-Man was always that over. It's probably why I went into bodybuilding in high school and late junior high. It's probably because of my connection to Motu. I'm just saying that
Oh,
there might
I'm
be
going
a
with you.
correlation there. There might be a correlation there from that time when I was working out pretty hard and heavy. So yeah, I would say that definitely influenced my My brain. So, are there any figures that you're missing that you would want?
What, like what, Motu? I
Anything.
got it all.
What
Let me,
figures are you missing that you might want?
shit. To be honest with you, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about maybe that, what is his name? That other big ass figure that they made, not the Sentinel, but the next one.
Galactus.
What is? Yes,
Galactus.
yes. I've been on the fence about thinking about getting one. I got the Sentinel, and I like the size of that, but now I'm at the point to where I'm not going to display it. I'm just
Yeah.
going to have it just to have it, so I don't want it. But that's what I've been teetering on the fence about. You know what I mean? But other than that, I mean, I'm knee deep in the Motu. I've expanded my collection to getting customs, and if I can't make it, I'll buy it. You know what I mean? So
I
like,
would say you're more neck deep than knee deep. I'm just saying.
I'm all the way in. I'm drowning in the shit at this point. I can't swim to the top. I'm
Yeah,
at the
there you
bottom of the sea.
go.
You know
So,
what I mean? It keeps getting worse.
so you kind of talked about it a little bit. You kind of got out of the home arcade, but why specifically toys for you? Why? What is it about toys that makes you say,
Oh,
this is why, this is what I want to do as a hobby?
that's a good question. For one, it's a very safe hobby. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like I can't hurt nobody. I'm not a drinker. You know what I mean? I'm not going out gambling. I'm not spending it in some nudie bar or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing none of that. It's a safe hobby. That's number one. Number two, that it holds that high nostalgia. You know what I mean? Something that I cherished as a child that I wanted again. You know what I'm saying? As an adult, it just made sense to me.
Okay.
That's one of the couple of the main reasons why I do it. It's a good hobby. It keeps my mind off everyday life. You know what I mean? Because sometimes life can be stressful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need something just to relax. I don't smoke or nothing no more, nothing like that. So I don't get my mind off of my troubles like that. So I get my mind by looking at these figures, making up stories, keeping myself occupied.
Okay. So have you now you kind of mentioned it when you talked about the collector because you saw a review on it. Do you have any, we all have those moments where we buy something and then we regret it. So have you bought anything in your collection that you're just like, yeah, why did I buy this? Any buyer's remorse or regrets that you have?
I would say no. I try
Okay.
not to have that. You know what I mean? Just that's why I don't sell nothing. If I bought it for a reason. I don't
Yeah.
regret nothing.
Okay. There's times where I'll buy something and I'm like, why the hell did I buy that? See,
I might think it for a split second. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But then me in the future, I'll be like, hey, it's okay. You know what I
Well,
mean?
the
Just
thing
put it
is that
away.
I realized as a customizer, it's okay because I might want to, I might use those parts for something else.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, did I really need it? It's like when you go to like someplace like Ollie's or Ross and they have all this stuff and it's,
Oh
you
my
get,
God.
I mean,
You're right.
I bought a bunch. I bought 4 Crimson Guards, an extra Dusty, and an extra Zorana, and I paid $37 plus tax. And I paid $25 a piece for them originally. So I was just like, I'm thinking to myself, why do I do this to myself? But I bought them because I had plans for at least one of the bodies for a custom, but I figured the parts will come in handy at some point at $5. Why the hell not?
Well, that's why I do. That's another reason. Like in that one picture you see with all the toys and the boxes and all that stuff, there's no reason why I should have 10, how many, what is it? Mouse jaw figures. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But they was on sale. Target
Yeah.
was selling the bitches for like $6.99. Yeah, I'm gonna buy them. You know what I mean? I can't help it. But for me, like I like to give a lot of stuff away.
Yeah.
Like you might call me crazy when I say this. You know that extendar figure that just came
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
I bought 21 of them
Oh,
extendar figures. You know what I'm
man.
saying? Yeah, 21 is crazy. Why?
Yeah.
I'm sick. But I'm gonna give away like probably like 4 of them. You know what I mean? And the other ones, I'm making some customs out of them. I'm gonna get an anti-eternia extender. You know what I mean? Like I got
Yeah.
plans, and
Yeah.
and then part of me knows that figure is gonna hold its value. You know what I mean? Something that I learned with collecting this Motu. There's a lot of figures that nowadays you try to get them, that's just like $200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's another reason. Like I'm not a scalper And I'm not gonna, oh, I got, let me start selling these shits for like $60, $70 a piece on eBay. Nope. I don't even sell nothing on eBay. People ask me to buy customs, from me. I want to do it. I got so many goddamn parts. I need to start selling customs, but it's just hard. I'd rather give it away than anything.
Yeah,
I'd rather make people happy.
That's me with, if you've noticed on my Instagram over the last couple of years, anytime that, for the most part, when I do a custom, it's for someone else and it's a gift. It's not, I don't do them for money, but I do them because people, that I felt were important. It was something for them. And I
Pretty
wanted them to
sure.
have something. I wanted them to have something that was unique for them.
I feel you.
That's one of the good things about customizing is that I have that opportunity. Now, I still have promised Oz a custom, but I still have not gotten around to starting it because I'm still working on the custom me. So I have a Mythic Legions figure that I'm working on that's a custom of the future me or the new me. And I used to be a golden retriever for a long time where I would just, lay down and, show my belly far too often. And the person that I am now is not that same person because I started my healing journey and I'm still working on it. It never stops from here on out. But I made decisions in my life that are healthier for me. So that's a good thing.
Oz is a good guy. I met him in person.
I know. He said, yeah, that's his voice. It's how he sounds in person. I was like,
that's right.
okay.
That shit was funny. I met him at a toy con. He told me he was going to be there. And, people don't usually see me. They never see me. So he didn't know who to look for. But I seen him from the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was looking at something, and I came behind him. And I was like, hey, what do you think of this figure right here? He was like, oh, shit. That's Mr. Home Arcade. What's going on, brother? And I greeted him. You know what I'm saying? I made him a custom my TMNT Leonardo figure. Yeah. I gave him one of them. You know what I mean? It made me happy to see somebody happy to get, a gift. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something that is different that they might not get anywhere else. And it was, you know what I'm saying? It just brought joy to my heart. And that's a real good guy. I'm glad I had a chance to meet him.
Yeah. So as we get closer to the end of the conversation, one of the things that we do as collectors, and this is regardless of what we're collecting, is we kind of get to this point where we start feeling burnt out. And you kind of discussed your burnout with the arcades. So I'm assuming you've experienced burnout in a collection and whatever it was you were collecting at the time.
Oh, yes.
What about toy interests? Have you had any burnout yet with a toy interest?
I wouldn't say burnout per se, but I would just say that my goal was went somewhere else. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when I first started trying to get my toy collection up, I was going heavy on the Marvel Legends. You know what I mean? I wanted to get my X-Men collection up because I grew up on the cartoon. Yeah. So I wanted to try to get all them different X-Men figures. And this was before they brought the X-Men 97 line out.
Yeah.
Before they brought the cell shaded Marvel Legends X-Men out. Before that. So to get those certain Avengers, they cost an arm and a leg to get like the Hawk Man.
No, those are ridiculous.
Yeah, so with that, it made it hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I ended up more into Motu. I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna go head first into something, I'm gonna pick this, but I'm gonna have to cut back now. I still pick and choose with the Marvel Legends and all that stuff, yada yada. But like for instance, they just came out with the Cabal 3-pack with what Dr. Doom and the Iron Patriot and Taskmaster. I'm probably gonna get it, even though I know I'm not gonna open it. I know I don't need it, but you know what I'm saying? I just can't help it. I pick and choose.
And that's kind of what we do. We all kind of cherry pick sometimes with other lines that we have some connection to, but it's not that overwhelming urge to get it all. Sometimes with lines we have this urge to get it all, and sometimes we just have this, I'm just going to pick this one out and this one out, and we move on from there. So the magic question in psychology, we would ask, if all of your problems went away today, what would you do and why? So for collectors, the magic question is, if space and money weren't an object, what would you collect and why?
Shit, space and money wasn't. You say if it was a problem? Because I mean, to be honest with you, I moved into a place where I got plenty of space, and the job that I got now, I pretty much get whatever I want when I want it. So that's not really an issue right now. So that's hard to say. I mean, I got everything that I would want. The only thing that I don't have is stuff that I don't know that it's going to come out with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where I'm at that point in my collection. Until I see it, then I'm going to want it. But as of right now, if they were not to drop another figure out with a Motu line, and that's it, then I'm content. Then the only way I'm going to grow the line, and I will continue to do it how I've been doing it with custom figures, custom vehicles, stuff like that. That's it. But other than that, yeah, I'm good. I don't know if I can answer that question.
Well, I mean, for most of us, space and money are always going to be a factor. And yeah, we can hustle and make the money, but space in your house, eventually there's going to be a limited amount of space, right?
Oh yeah,
You
I'm going to run out. I'm going to shit. You see that one room? I need some more space.
If we had infinite space, or those pouches of infinite, whatever they're called, where you can just store stuff however you want, magic pouches, that would be great. Is there a time you see yourself not collecting? What would that look like for you?
Probably when I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time I'm gonna not be collecting, to be honest. When I die, I'm gonna keep going until I can't no more. So I can't pick it out. You know what I'm saying? That's the honest answer. When I die, that's when I'll be done.
They'll just bury your collection with you. That's right.
I think somebody better tell me I'm gonna write a will. You know what I mean? I told a couple people, if something happens to me, ask these certain people to help guide you on what to do with my collection.
Yeah.
I told my daughter, I said, listen, you save this stuff until, 30 years from now. It's going to be worth money, I promise. She says, I already know, Dad, I already know. So yeah, I got plans in place. But until then, they can bury me with my drunk key man, a couple other figures, you know what I'm saying? I'm good with that.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Well, that is all of the basic questions, as I like to call them. Now we're going to get to the most important question, and this is why it's my tagline. What did you find joy in today?
Shit. Today was, I felt joy in the waking up and being alive. You know what I mean? Like, shit, I felt joy in that. I felt joy in I don't feel joy that it's raining right now. I hate the rain. But that's it. I hate it all. I hate it, especially working in the rain. I hate it. But yeah, as far as that, man, I'm joy to be alive. I'm joy to just, you know what I'm saying, just keep going. It's a joy to just be a collector in this day and age. It feels good. It feels good to be a collector as an adult. Because as a kid, you got to rely on your parents to get you stuff and something like that. As an adult, as long as you got the income, the sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm just glad to be alive today. That's what brings me joy.
Okay. Well, my joy today is my son came and he's spending the night over here, so we get to hang out for a little bit here in a bit. So
that's
we hung out. So I take him to dinner every Wednesday, so we go to dinner together, and then the last couple Wednesdays he's decided that he wants to come over and hang out, so we hang out. So that is my joy for the day. And with that, folks, I want to thank Mr. Home Arcade for coming on. I want to thank anybody that is here live. I appreciate you all coming and spending a couple hours with us. If you are watching this on the replay, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I know it's a little different, and it's not quite just focused on just the toys. It's really about trying to find out, why these things mean so much to us. With that, folks, I will say good night. Mr. Home Arcade, I put all of your links that you sent me into the description of the video. So if you want to follow him or find his stuff, or the playlist that he put up that we showed the first video of.
Well, I would rather recommend they watch the Motu commercial playlist, because that has every single story. I'm gonna give it to you so you can put it in there. But that
All
has
right.
every single story in order over the past couple of years that I did with these figures,
Okay.
and I really love it.
All right. That's cool. I can add it to it. For those of you, thank you very much. I appreciate you all being here. And with that, I will say, if you can be anything, be kind. Have a good night.
Bye.